I just got one question. Where can I get me one of those red rally towels? Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Phightins Final here on the Edge of Philly Sports with your boy Matty B, joined by the Gobbler and the Hammer Joe Marks from the Patterson Fanatics. Wow. We were saying this off camera, gentlemen, speechless, just kind of blown away right now. They're feeding off that electricity that was happening down there, and they sold out Citizen Bank Park for Game 3 of the National League Division Series. And then the offensive explosion, led by the top of the lineup, which is one of the weirdest things that can happen to this baseball team. At the top of the lineup was producing in droves, and then backed by yet another Aaron Nola gem. You mix all that together, boys, and we got ourselves a 2-1 series lead in the NLDS. Gobbler, what is going through your mind right now, man?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to get my voice back because I screamed the whole title. Because this is coming back to me. This is that 2011 feeling coming back to me. I'm pumped up right now. I've had my doubts on the first two batters, and Rhys Hoskins silenced me with that 3-run bomb. And then follow up by that was Harper's home run. However, what's going through my mind, Matt, is easy. What idiotic management move was made by the Braves front office, but by putting in a rookie in this kind of situation? Sure, that kid's got some stuff, but he's not ready to take on this kind of spotlight, and he got thumped for it. And now for the Phillies to come out to win this kind, not just by a 1 or 2 game 2-point differential, we're talking about a good old welcome to the woodshed 9-point win. 9 points you put on the board. I love this, man. And you see, like Matt, you said, the rally towels, the Red Rockets, it's all out there now. It's
all right, relax there, Gobbler. Gobbler, sit back here. Relax,
so,
man.
It's all out there. I'm excited.
Joe?
Good grief. We're not even like after dark and he's going all like Cinemax on us. Jesus Christ. No, I have to say, this was exactly what Dave Dombrowski, this is what the ownership for the Phillies wanted. This is what the Phillies fans wanted. You come back home after 11 years away in the playoffs, and you bash the bell, and you bash it, and you keep bashing it. They don't know. The Braves don't know what hit them. And to be honest, and I'll be 100% honest with your remark about this pitcher. Now, this pitcher had.
Hang on, Joe. Let's go live now to Big Al, the man on the scene down there at CBP. Al, we saw it on TV. We felt it through the TVs, but you were there. How electric was it? How you feeling?
Oh, hell yeah.
Big Al on the scene with us right now. Big Al.
How can you not feel good right now? I mean, that's the thing is, you said it yourself, electric. We said it before together. Until you're down here, it's been 11 years since we were actually down in Philly with winning playoff games. You can't. I took my boys here for the first time they ever got to feel it, and they're excited. They're ecstatic. They're crazy right now. They can't even believe that what Dad told them was true. So it's amazing. It's an amazing experience. Everybody's going nuts. The Eagles' chants are funny. I don't understand them, but whatever. But we're having a great time, and 9-1 victory. I will be back here tomorrow.
Al, what was more? What rocked the building harder, Harper or Hoskins' home run? What was the bigger one on the old voice meter there?
Well, I think the fact that Hoskins came up and kind of redeemed himself for a minute before he screwed things up again, that was probably. But I think the fact that Harper one pitch and then he has another home run, I have to say it was Harper.
Al, what was with the Braves chant that happened towards the end? Was that the Phillies fans mocking or?
It's typical Philly, man. Just chanting, just like take. It's like in wrestling when you take the other guy's pose.
Right.
Well, guess what? We took their chant and fed it right back to them.
That's great.
It was great.
That is great because I honestly thought I heard like a chant that was the Braves, and then early on it sounded. Now, Gobbler, you're a wrestler. You'll understand this chant. Keith Lee used to have "Bask in His Glory," and the crowd used to sing "Bask in His Glory," and I thought I heard that in the crowd, and then it changed from that to the Braves chant, and I'm like,
well, we had the Braves chant, the Tomahawk chant. But when Ozuna was up, little DUI chants came out occasionally.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, okay. Like every time he came up, it was funny. That's why I love this town.
So Al, if you could give advice to somebody that's good that wasn't there today, that's heading down there tomorrow for a potential series clinching victory, give me a timeline. The game starts at 2:00. What time do you think people should be showing up down there at Citizen Bank Park tomorrow to get max buck at bang out of their buck?
I got in my parking spot, out of the car, and into the stadium with a little bit more than an hour to spare. The lines were still ridiculous. If you wanted a beer, if you wanted food, if you wanted to go pee, the only time the lines were open was for the first inning and the first pitch.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
folks, importantly for that, because it's another sellout tomorrow down there at the bank. And Al, the most important question I have for the night: did you get me my red rally towel?
I got red rally towels, bro.
Okay, is one of them Matty B's?
I might have grabbed a couple extra. Yes, I got you covered. And I'll be, like I said, I'll be back there tomorrow. Still waiting on my email. A bunch of people got their NLCS emails, but I will be here. I will be at every playoff game as far as I know, barring any weird reason at this point.
Sounds good. Galver, you got anything for Al?
Yeah, Al. I mean, they said it best. You got the red rock, tails. I got the red rocket. It's going to work great. I'm excited. What I mean, no, Al. Look, this has been 11 years. Okay, and just like you with your son, I'm showing my son. This is the atmosphere that we, before he was right before he was born. This is what Daddy was going through. And now he's starting to see it. I lost my voice, Al, screaming at the TV, like gripping things in the house. Like, I can't believe this is back. Like, this is, and don't forget, this is what Reese Hoskins has always wanted. He's wanted this. He's said numerous times in interviews. He's want to know what the feelings like. He wants to know what it was like to be Ryan Howard. Granted, he can't play defense like Ryan Howard, but he wants to know what it was like to be Ryan Howard. He wants to know what it was like to be that 08 team. And here we are. And to me, like I said earlier in the show, if we get past this series right here, there's no stopping. There's no stopping. We've often criticized Ron Thompson about shaking up the lineup. Me especially, that. I've criticized the lineup, but my man stays. This is what got him this far. He's going to stay with this lineup, and that's it. There's no cookie cutting it. This is his plan, and this is what's going to get us to the promised land. So I'm happy what I'm seeing from Rob Thompson. Just cool, calm, and collected.
Rob, I think you should be happy about anybody you see. I mean, I said it on the show. I don't think Reese is back next year, barring any explosive postseason heroics.
Mm-hmm.
But here's your rally tails.
That's what I'm talking about. Make sure I get that.
But my point is like it's everybody's in. I mean, the only thing is like that one run, that 9.
Oh.
The heel of his hand, he couldn't take it. There's a couple times. That's twice now. That it cost us some extra baseball that we didn't need. But Aaron Nola is dealing, like we said before, Matty B. He is the man until otherwise proven.
Yeah.
Well, we always worried about Aaron's September woes, but we now know what Aaron is like in October.
Ice in his veins.
Al, and kind of piggybacking off the Gobbler real quick, he mentioned the fact that today was an opportunity for a whole new generation of Phillies fans to witness and get a taste of playoff baseball. And I remember my indoctrination in 1980. A lot of you guys remember your indoctrinations as the years over the years. Were there a lot of fresh faces in that crowd? Did you see the younger generation well represented down there at the bank today?
Absolutely. I mean, there's just a couple rows in front of us. There's kids no more than 4 or 5 years old. I saw a bunch of 7, 8-year-olds every age. Like I said, I had my 13-year-old with me. I had my 20-year-old who was too young back then to even understand. I remember the World Series parade after they won in 2008 was Halloween. We got back too late. He missed out on the candy.
Oh. No, that's
no.
There's no damn World Series.
That's a violation. That's a violation.
That's a miss cake.
Yeah, but No, like they're like, listen, they're grinning ear from ear. I mean, like I said, my 13-year-old, he's not Mr. Sports, but I wanted him to get a feel for this because, like I said in '93, that I wasn't at the games, but I got to watch it with family, and watch them go nuts. And like that was kind of my indoctrination to Philly sports. And you see where it's taken me over the years. So I'm hoping maybe there we go.
Al, I'll bring up a question you kind of bring, and I've been in agreement with you that Reese is probably not going to be on this team next year. However, if he starts to play hero ball like we saw earlier on in like July, and he starts going on that hot streak like we know he can, and he really like starts to carry this team along with a guy like Harper and Nick Castellanos and whatnot. Do you see that opinion in ownership changing because of what he would do? Like, does that change?
Like the thought, I mean, like I said, outside of any, like he just goes on a tear. His defense is locked down. He's becoming a above 300 hitter for the rest of the postseason. Yeah, but even then, we all know who Reese Hoskins is.
Yeah,
he is what he is. Like there is no changing him. This isn't like his second year or his third year. He has been here longer than most of the guys on the team right now that are, or at least in the starting lineup, if not all the guys.
I go back to Pat Burrell. Like Pat Burrell was a beloved fan favorite, but when we won the World Series, there was no way that Pat Burrell was going to get re-signed.
No.
I mean, there was just no way. And, most fans knew that. Now, I'm not saying Pat had any heroics in the postseason run, but it would be hard. It would be hard for any organization to let go of a postseason hero, even though we all know what he is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, barring him becoming some super postseason hero who is like literally has the winning run that gets us in the World Series and wins us a World Series or something along those lines, it's really.
this is the live TV feeds that we have to deal with. It's audio, but I think I understand what he's trying to say. Dives here asked an interesting question, guys. Where does Reese Hoskins' home run rank among the best in Phillies moments? Is it up there in the like Victorino, Matt Stairs world?
Yeah, to me, I would say yes. It's up there. It's up there with the David, Matt Stairs. I mean, just because this guy's been struggling all up to this point.
We just went nuts.
Okay, we got him back. Sorry about that, Al. We lost you for about 5 minutes, but we got you back now.
But I would put it up there.
All right, well, no, listen, I'm not gonna hold you guys up.
Okay, hey, listen, Al.
Here, by the way, that was awesome. He was here. I was about 2 feet away from him. Slapped him 5, walked by him. I was too close to try to get a picture with him or anything. But that, like I said, the whole thing's nuts. You saw Tobias was here with Georges Niangs. You saw Nick Sirianni, and I know somebody in this group went crazy when they saw Howie Roseman, Matty B. But
Howie Roseman was there.
Him and Nick Sirianni were in the same club box.
Oh God!
Winners stick together. Winners stick together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
all right, guys. I will let you go. I'm going to try to fight through the next hour traffic because I got to pick my son up. We have a playoff game, or not a playoff game. We have a homecoming game, and I got to be there at 7:30 in the morning. Get done and get ready to come back down here. Like I said, I'm going to try to leave and be down here by noon tomorrow.
There you go. By noon. Right, so those of you who are traveling, plan accordingly. Al, thank you for your on the spot.
Don't forget, I just got our on-scene reporter who was in the press box tonight, Rock Hoffman from Football Stories, will be putting out an article for tonight's game, and I'll have it up on EOPsports.com as soon as I get in the house.
Definitely be looking out for that, Al. Safe travels back to Delco, and thank you for chiming in, man.
All right, guys, take it easy.
See you later.
Our man Big Al on the scene down there at Citizen Bank Park. And just to kind of finish our point about the home run, Joe Marks mentioned that you think it's up there. You mentioned as well, Galver, that you might think it's up there. These are the types of home runs that, postseasons are all about. I remember the Victorino home run back in 08, and I knew at that moment the Phillies were going to win the World Series, and that was back in the NLDS. And then obviously the Matt Stairs home run. Then we can go back even further into time, 93 and 80 and 83 and all that. Even with all that, I kind of agree with Big Al that I would be very surprised that Rhys Hoskins is back here next year. It's just, I think too much has been done. Too much damage has been inflicted for us. For that, I think that boat is already sailed.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it just amazes me talking with Matt here and you guys and you too, Joe. Mid-June we were 12 games out, and now we are at the NLDS. Okay, we're 12 games out. We're not even supposed to be here. This was supposed to be for the Brewers or somebody. This was supposed to be for somebody else. No, we are here, and we are here for a reason. Keep on riding this. What an amazing story this Phillies team has been. You got rid of Joe Girardi, and now you're on the doorstep. You're one game away from going to the LCS. Amazing, an amazing story.
You can be critical of Howie Roseman, Matty B, but you got to give Dave Dombrowski all the credit in the world because of that turnaround. Sometimes GMs like a Chuck Fletcher, they just ride the ship until it hits the rocks, and Dave Dombrowski could have done that, and because he invested in Joe Girardi, he signed him. It's his guy. Dombrowski pretty much said, listen, I have to change the course. This is not what I got brought in for. And ownership deserves better. The fans deserve better. The players deserve better. I mean, when Dombrowski's in the clubhouse during the Girardi time and said, the feeling was just very bad. Like, it was very quiet. It was very muted. It didn't feel good. And that's when he knew he had to make a change. Rob Thompson has proven without a shadow of a doubt that he is the future manager for this club. And I am looking forward to not only what comes tomorrow, what comes later, but what comes after all of this season is over.
Yes.
Because Rob Thompson should be your manager of the year.
I agree. I agree with all your comments there, Joe. But I think it's safe to say that we got to keep our eyes on the prize right now. We haven't won anything yet. We haven't, and we're working towards that. But this team is too top heavy, Joe. We have too many DH types on this team. We don't have enough contact hitters. There's still some work to be done on certain positions. First base being one of them. We need to figure out what the future of that position is, and the same thing with second base or shortstop, depending on where you're going to play Bryson Stott in the future. But I agree with you. We're trending in the right direction. Here's my thing right now. The days of 2012 through 2017 are over for a long time. We're on the other side of that coin. Let the good times roll. I'm not saying we're opening the floodgates from another 07 to 11 type run. Not saying that. But I definitely think we have been a competitive baseball team for a few years now. But now we're going to start ramping that up, and being in the playoffs is definitely going to be the future for this team. And that's all you can really ask for. What happens in the playoffs is totally anybody's guess. And the Phillies are proving that true this year as well.
Matt, what's your take on, because I mean, me and Pat gave our take off camera, but what's your take on the Braves managerial option to go with the young gun today?
Well, Strider is a really good young pitcher, and he dominated the Phillies all season long. I don't necessarily have an issue with that. There was a problem, though. I think, what did Smoltz say, that the home run to Hoskins was the slowest fastball Strider through the entire postseason, the entire game. So obviously, maybe not necessarily going with Strider, but possibly riding him an inning too long is probably the issue with the Braves there, that they rode him too long. But when you're dealing with these types of games and this type of situation where pitching is a premium to begin with in this league, you're trying to save bullpen, you're trying to save arms. And the Phillies right now, to me, Joe, if you look at this, and I've said this over and over and over again for years, it's pitching, and you mentioned already, pitching wins championships. Right now, the Phillies are rolling out 2 aces.
Mhm.
That's going to be hard in a 7-game series. That's going to be very hard to overcome. And we're proving it's hard to overcome in a 3 and a 5-game series. Wait till we do get to that 7-game series, and then you got Wheeler and Nola going maybe 3 times in the series, potentially, possibly 4 times pitching in that series. That's going to be amazing, and that's where it really boils down to, guys. It boils down to having those aces. And Strider's a good pitcher, but maybe it was just a question of leaving him 1 inning too long.
I mean, he was coming off an injury, so there was suspicion that act was re-aggravated. And I mean, I don't understand why you put somebody in with the intention of 3 innings if in a playoff game, in a pivotal playoff game.
But that's what we're at right now. This is the day and age we're in. We don't have those fireballers. We don't have the Steve Carltons that pitch 375 innings a season. We don't have the Nolan Ryans or the John Smoltzes out there anymore.
We only have 2.
It is now. This is what it is.
We got the double dragons.
Yeah, like it or not, and I don't like it. I miss those I miss those John Smoltz type pitchers, and we have 2 of them. We have 2 of those throwback era pitchers on this team right now, and that's a premium. And I'm telling you that you can be analytics all day long. At the end of the day, it's not going to change what wins you championships, and that's pitching.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I totally. And you know what, guys? Not to shift gears here, but I mean, again, we looked at everyone, but you know what? Like Alec Boehm and I went 0 for 4, and we're not even looking at that because everyone else stepped up. Nick Castellanos had 2 hits and 2 RBIs. We had a couple other guys come up big. Of course, Reese Hoskins, we've been touring his own. Schwarber hit that double. We had a couple guys really come through. Again, like I said this before the playoffs got started, before the postseason got started, I said the most dangerous X factor in this whole thing is Bryce Harper. I said you move him down in that lineup, he's going to start cooking. I said because there's no pressure and he's going to start hitting bombs. And I said this way before when this postseason about to get started. And here he is living up to the word. And now here he is in the cleanup spot, crushing it.
I said this on my show a couple weeks ago, about a month or so ago. I said the cavalry's coming, and when everyone was like, "Who's the cavalry?" I said Bryce Harper, because he can carry the weight of 5 players on a team if he wants to, and he started off really slow, and I expected that, but now you're starting to see him come out of that, and now you're also starting to see Nick Castellanos start to come out of that. And if those 2 start bashing the ball with Reese and whoever else you sprinkle in there.
His name is Kyle Schwarber. What about him? Where's he gone? I mean, he had a hit tonight and he's showing a little signs of life. But don't tell me that's not bothering anybody. That's bothering the hell out of me. He has to start hitting it.
It's irking my skin. And I'm with you, Matt. Again, you got 1 hit tonight, but prior to that, you were like 0 for 18. It's like
that was bad,
dude. But Rob Thompson just stays cool, calm, and collected. Yep. He feels like the hitting is going to come back around. And I'm like, if anything, this is where you want to experience him in that 4th hole because you get some RBI, start to build up with that if he can start hitting those bombs again. But I'm not Rob Thompson, so Rob Thompson said, "This is what we got. This is how we got here. This is what we're going to stick with." So,
all right, fellas, let's jump into the line real quick because we're running out of time. The Braves would finish the game with a run on 6 hits and 1 error. The Phillies with 9 runs on 8 hits and 2 errors, which is amazing that they were able to dominate this game and still commit 2 errors. How it all went down there at the bank tonight. The scoring got started in it. Really got started in that 3rd inning. Bryson Stott got it all going with that double. Scoring Brandon Marsh and then taking the lid almost off Citizen Bank Park with that hit. Then it just got louder and more electrified as Reese Hoskins stepped up to the plate and jacked that 3-run shot to make it 4-0. Folks, in my estimation, that was the bigger of the 2 home runs. That was huge. That was just a game-altering home run, in my opinion. Bryce Harper would follow that up with a 2-run shot of his own to make it 6-0, a 6-run 3rd inning. And that's pretty much all she wrote. The Braves were able to get 1 back in the bottom, the top of the 6th. Michael Harris would knock in a run, but then Bryce Harper would get the Phillies back some insurance in the bottom of the 7th with doubling and Matt Vierling, and then Nick Castellanos would knock in JT and Bryce Harper to make it 9-1. And folks, that is how you got your 9-1. Individually, offensively for the Phillies, As we mentioned, Kyle Schwarber's still struggling, 1 for 2 today. He did have a run and a walk, so he got involved in the offense somehow. Rhys Hoskins finally broke through with something, 1 for 3 with a run, 3 RBIs, and that huge home run. JT was 1 for 4 with 2 runs. Bryce Harper on the day, 2 for 4, 2 runs, 3 RBIs in it, and a walk, or I'm sorry, and a home run. Nick Castellanos, you mentioned 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And listen, most of the power came from that top of that lineup, which is something that we've been dying to see for a very long time. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's why they're here, to produce runs. My offensive player of the game, hands down, goes to Rhys Hoskins on this night. Pitching-wise, for the Phillies, Aaron Nola, a 6 dominant, strong, Mr. October-like innings. He is continuing to write his new legacy. He gets the win, 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Alvarado, Hand, and Brogdon come on in relief and mop-up duty. Spencer Strider for the Braves only went 2 1/3, 3 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. And boys, 9-1 Phillies. We take a stranglehold now in the NLCS, 2-1 lead. NLDS, getting ahead of myself. 2-1 lead. And our boy Chris Dibler reporting that Matt Gallup is now saying Noah Syndergaard will get the nod tomorrow for the Phillies in Game 4. And he'll be opposed by the Braves, Charlie Morton. Let me get your estimates on that right off the bat. Go with the hammer on this. Noah Syndergaard. Here we go. What do you think, Thor? Thor and the hammer.
Well, his hammer better be a lot heavier than mine. But I haven't seen it, so I'm actually kind of disappointed in that announcement because I wanted to see Bailey falter. Because here's my feeling: is Bailey is proven he should be that starter, and Noah, you would have Noah, Gibson, and Eflin as possible backup arms in case he really gets into trouble. You're talking about 3 long relievers to close this before you even get into your bullpen. At that back end of your bullpen, so I'm not loving it. I'm not loving it.
Well, to piggyback what Joe's saying, I'm with Joe. You got to treat tomorrow like it is a bullpen game because you got Syndergaard coming in here. He's only going to give you 3 innings, if that at best. Then you have, Gibson who can't give you anything, and then so you're going to this, bringing these arms. You're like you said, other than your 2 aces, you got to get these guys on the lineup, and hopefully they give you your best stuff to win this game.
Here's the issue I have. And first and foremost, Noah Syndergaard, obviously, he's got that World Series pedigree. I mean, he's been in these moments before. Kyle Gibson hasn't been in these moments before. Bailey Falter certainly hasn't been in these moments before. I got you there. But here's my concern. As you guys already mentioned, a bullpen game. If the Braves do get up early and often on Syndergaard and it turns into a bullpen game and we lose, we'll be looking at for Game 5, which is Sunday. There's no travel day. We're going right back to Atlanta for a Sunday game. Is that Ranger? Are you going to put Ranger Suarez in that Game 5 situation, or is that a bullpen game as well? I mean, what are we doing here now? This is we're showing some maybe not our depth in our starting rotation, but is Zach Eflin in play for maybe Game 5? I mean, where do you stand on this? Because it's a very interesting choice for the logistics, in my opinion, of the situation.
Well, this is where I put Zach at standby. Regardless, knowing that Syndergaard's going to pitch, but regardless if it would have been Syndergaard or Falter or Gibson or whatever, Eflin, in my mind, would have been at standby. Because if anything, Eflin can give you 3 strong innings. Now, what he gives you past that, you don't need to worry about that right away. You need to figure out how do we get to the 5th inning without the Braves jumping all over us. They said it on the telecast tonight that the Braves have a more successful record when they are ahead in the score early on in a game. It's like, okay, now that's low-hanging fruit. A lot of teams would probably have a good record if they're leading early on in a game. However, you cannot play a bullpen game against this offense and take it lightly. You have to, it's all hands on deck. So I don't care if it's Noah starting out. If that hammer turns out to be a ball-peen hammer and not a sledgehammer, then he needs to go. He needs to get roped. that leash needs to be short. And I want to add one thing. You mentioned the player of the game for you, Matt, is Rhys Hoskins. I would say, at least in my mind, and it's indicative to what's going to happen tomorrow. My player of the game tonight was the Bayou Beast in Aaron Nola. That's a guy that is showing right now what we all wanted to have him become. Is he Cole Hamels-esque for this playoff run? Is he that Cole Hamels?
Definitely looking like it. Dives also asked us, what's your drink of choice for tomorrow's game? Anybody? You guys, Galver, you want to go first with that? What's your drink of choice for tomorrow's game?
Oh, dude, I'm not drinking no alcohol. I'm sticking to H2O. I'm sticking H2O. Dude, I'm not even leaving the couch tomorrow. We got Penn State and Michigan. We got this game, and then we got the Flyers right after. I'm not leaving the couch.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting afternoon down there in South Philly. The Flyers are home, as well as the Phillies. They're going to converge on each other. Man, forgot about that.
Yeah, 4 o'clock. You know what I mean? So I hope the wife doesn't expect me to do any cleaning around the house because ain't nothing getting done.
What about you, Joe? What's your drink of choice tomorrow for the game?
I am fighting off a cold, so hot toddy is on the menu for tomorrow.
Me, I'm going to be on the road tomorrow, so I'll be drinking Monster and ginger ale. So a bunch of duds here. Sorry about that.
But can I ask you a question, Matt? Not to shift gears here, but we need to pinch ourselves here. Seriously, I mean, we have an Eagles team that's 5-0. We have this crazy Phillies team that is one game away from going to NLDS. We have a Flyers team that came out red hot. We have a soccer team that has a first round bye. I mean,
and don't forget, we have a basketball team kicking off their season this coming week.
Right. I mean, this is
not
crazy.
Forget that.
No, of course. So I mean, we got to pinch ourselves here.
Yeah, and listen, it's a great feeling right now. Joe Scores it says tomorrow it's all hands on deck for the pitchers. Every arm is available. So I guess are you guys saying to me that it's game 4, do or die, or we're not even looking at game 5? I mean, we definitely have to look at that, don't we? At a certain point, I mean, does Zach Eflin? I mean, are we going with Ranger in a potential series? Deciding game in game 5. I got to keep that in the back of my head. It's just the realist in me, Joe.
Yeah, I get it, but you have to understand, you win for the day. You don't focus on if. You focus. I mean, listen, if we don't go back to Atlanta, we have the advantage still. We don't go back to Atlanta. That's the game plan. We don't go back, because if we go back to Atlanta for game 5, it doesn't matter if Rangers pitching. It doesn't matter. Like if Zach Wheeler were pitching, it doesn't matter, because that is a really bad environment for the Phillies to walk into, because the first 2 games in Atlanta were electric. I don't want to go back. I just don't. I want to be, as the old adage goes, in order to be the champ, you have to beat the champ. Okay? This is the champ. Let's beat him on our turf. We've gone away, going on the road long enough. Let's stay home.
It's a very good point, Joe. It would be nice to get some home cooking for a little while, then maybe kind of chill out before we got to hit the West Coast, because it doesn't really matter who it's going to be. The next opponent will be a West Coast team, whether it be the San Diego Padres or the Dodgers. By the way, series tied at 1 apiece. They resume tonight, game 3 in San Diego. So, all right, Joe, that's going to wrap me up and then wrap us up. Do you have any parting words for the faithful out there? Is this, I mean, are we watching history, Joe Marks? Is this the middle stage of a potential historic October here in Philadelphia?
This is not only the beginning stage of an historic October for the Philadelphia Phillies. It's an historic October and an historic sports month for the city of Philadelphia. And you could see this being capped off at the end of the month of October with a World Series. Wow. Stay tuned.
Absolutely. Stay tuned, and we'll be bringing it to you here on the Phightins Final, as we have been all season long. And what a way to launch a post-game show, and what a season to do it in. Definitely cannot be more happier than that. All right, folks, that is going to wrap me up and wrap us up. I want to thank Joe Marks and the Gobbler who dropped off. He's still in the waiting room. I don't know what he's doing down there, but we'll be back tomorrow and we'll be talking again about Game 4. And hopefully we're talking about a series victory as Noah Syndergaard will be opposed by Charlie Morton of the Atlanta Braves. For Joe Marks, I am Matty B. We've heard from everybody except for one person, Harry the King!